Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to another video, and today I've got a Norwich City based video for you. It's going to be a half season review as we played Brentford a couple of days ago, and that capped the halfway point in the season. So now we've played 23 games and only 23 remain. So it's crazy how quick the season goes, and like you say, it's crazy how quickly opportunities to possibly go up or the league table can change so quickly in football, but it is starting to get to the stage where I think we know what our future is for this season. So in this video, I'm not gonna be sort of giving each game an in-depth review, but I will focus specifically on each game, and I'll probably more just sort of be saying what happened in the game, who scored, where that left us in the table. There will be annotations on screen to help with that if you don't want to listen to my monotone, boring voice, but that's up to you. After I've talked through each game, I'm just going to sort of summarise where we are on the league table, what the main statistics are, and yes, I'm a big fan of statistics. It's a strange fascination I've got. I'm also going to touch on the top 5 goals that we've seen so far this season, in my opinion, but we haven't seen too many goals, so the pickings may seem a little bit slim, but yeah, that's how it is. Also, I'm going to just touch on our Christmas fixtures still to come. If you don't know, we have 3 more games. Still got Millwall, Burton Albion and Birmingham. Birmingham's the first one coming on Boxing Day, so I'll just touch on that and say how we need to do in those games. So Norwich City started off their campaign with a trip to Fulham, a team I don't think they've beaten Fulham at Craven Cottage for about 30 years, and that continued. I did go to this game. It was a very good game. Lots of chances, could have gone either way. In the end, it did finish 1-1. Nelson Oliveira coming on and scoring the equaliser, and then celebrating energetically in front of Daniel Farke. So it was a promising start to the campaign, and yeah, it gave me good hopes for the rest of the season. Norwich had another game just 3 days later, and that was the EFL Cup Round 1, and it was a tie against Swindon. Norwich did fall behind early on, but they scored 3 pretty good goals, which included excellent team goals from Wes Hoolahan and James Maddison, so that meant they progressed in the Cup, and also nice to see some new signings have a look in. In the first home game of the year, then in the league, Norwich went down 3-1 to newly relegated Sunderland. It was a very poor performance. Sunderland much better on the day, and it was a promising start from Norwich, but 3 Sunderland goals, including a couple from Lewis Grabban, put them out of the game, and the only consolation was another own goal from Lewis Grabban, so that meant he actually got 3 in the match. But yeah, very disappointing and a very sort of back down to earth step in the season. The games came thick and fast at the start of the season, and there was another home game. This time we played QPR, and then Daniel Farke picked up his first win of the season in the league as Norwich manager. We beat QPR by 2-0. It wasn't all easy though. QPR played well in the first half, but an excellent goal from Harrison Reed. It's definitely in one of my top goals so far, and also the Nelson Oliveira scored the first one. That meant we picked up our first 3 points and also first clean sheet. Second away game of the season, and it was at our, like Fulham, at Villa Park, a place we simply have a terrible record at, and that continued, so they emphatically beat us. Conor Horan scoring a hat-trick, 4-2 the result was. We did manage to get back into the game twice, but we were quickly shut down, and it was, our problems in our defence continued to haunt us, and it gave a lot of the fans and obviously the team a lot to think about in terms of defence. But more worryingly, we're slipping. I know it's still it was early days, but we slipped down the league, and yeah, it didn't look good. So another cup game. This was round 2. We drew Charlton, and again we went and conceded the first goal and went 1-0 down. But quickly managed to get back into the game. Josh Murphy scoring another goal in the cup. I think he scored about 9 goals in the League Cup in total. That's pretty good record. Yeah, he scored another one in the second half. James Maddison and Tom Tribal also getting on the score sheet. So it's good to score 4 goals and advance to the next round. Alright, so probably the one of the lowest days so far this season. Millwall beat us 4-0 away from home. That was very embarrassing. I didn't go at the game, luckily, but that really, that gave the team huge amounts to think about. And we dropped to 22nd in the league. Of course, it's only the 5th game, but 22nd is very concerning. The fact we lost 4-0 to a newly promoted side like Millwall, no disrespect there, but as who we are, we should. That was terrible. Some of the defending, I think, that's what, kick-started the revival that, consequently happened after this. But that certainly the lowest point of the season. After the international break, then we picked up a welcome 3 points at home to Birmingham. This is the one game this season at home that I've missed, as I was on a university open day at Sheffield. Nelson Oliveira got the early goal. I think it was on about 3 minutes, tap-in and we managed to keep a clean sheet and see out the game for an important 3 points, although it still left us 17th in the table. Midweek home game against Burton Albion, probably the most uninspiring of the season. Drew 0-0 to a team that had hardly kept a clean sheet all season, and we didn't look like winning that game at all. I think we had one clear-cut chance, but otherwise Burton, they defended well, to be fair to them, but things not looking good. That brings us to our first away win of the season. That was at Sheffield United. Very impressive considering how Sheffield United were doing both at the time and at this time. They're doing pretty well. I think they're in the top 6 at the moment. 1-0, Yannick Wilshere with the goal. That was good for him to gain some confidence, as I thought he'd been one of the best players in the season so far. Still 12th, only on 11 points, but a welcome win, and more importantly, that was the third clean sheet in a row, so it's starting to offer some defensive stability after that horror show at Millwall. Moving on to the third round of the EFL Cup, we drew Brentford away from home. I wanted to go at this game, but unfortunately things at school meant that I couldn't. Scored 3 goals, very good. Mario Vrancic scoring a couple of them, and also Josh Murphy, as he always does, scoring in the Cup. So no real problems here. Unfortunately, we did concede a late goal, which meant the run of clean sheets in all competitions came to an end. But yes, another win, and also into the 4th round of the Cup. A second consecutive 0-0 draw at home. This time it was with Bristol City, who at the moment are doing very, very well. So perhaps in hindsight this isn't the worst result, but nevertheless it's still that we failed to score at home. We did keep a clean sheet. That was our fourth clean sheet in a row in the league, but it still left us sitting in mid-table, and it's not the kind of result that suggests that we were going to challenge for promotion. Okay, the games continue to come thick and fast. This time it was a midweek trip to Middlesbrough, a place that last time we went there we got thumped 4-0, although we did of course beat them in the playoffs at the end of the season. So we managed to grind out a 1-0 win. That was thanks to a wonder goal from James Maddison. I didn't go at the game. Well, it's a bit too far to go for me, but I did watch it. Somebody streamed it, and we defended really well. We approached the game in the right manner, and got the goal and defended the lead, and I think at the end we probably deserved to come away with the points based on the determination of the players. So yes, this was a pretty crucial result because it showed that we can beat the better teams in this league, and it continued our good form. Would you believe it, a 4th successive away win in all competitions? That's certainly something we haven't said for a long time. This time it was at Reading. It was the Sky game at 5:30, and James Maddison again's getting on the score sheet. This time it was with a wonder free kick. Definitely one of the best free kicks I've seen this season. Reading did equalise, which ended our run of clean sheets in the league. I think we had 5 consecutive league clean sheets, and then but nevertheless, Cameron Jerome got his first goal of the season, very good for him, from a corner, and we managed to hold on for the win. So another crucial result for us, and it was good because that was just leading into the international break, so gave us some more momentum to take forward. After the international break, it was a home game against Hull, who hadn't been doing too well under their new manager, who, by the way, has been sacked. He was sacked a couple of weeks ago. I think the Hull took the lead in the first half, and it looked like it was going to be a first defeat for a while for Norwich, but Nelson Oliveira came off the bench and managed to scramble in an equaliser in the 96th minute, which was not only good to keep the unbeaten run going, but also giving us some momentum going into one of the biggest games of the season, the East Anglian Derby, the following week. Definitely one of the highlights of the season so far. So we did manage to beat Ipswich 1-0 at Portman Road. It wasn't all easy though. They missed a hatful of chances in the first half, and I thought definitely should have been a couple of goals up at half time. But you know the story, if you don't take your chances, you will be punished, and that's exactly what we did. We caught them on the counter-attack, and it was a great finish from man of the moment, James Maddison, and that result obviously gave us the bragging rights and also moved us into the top 6 for the first time this season. After that game was another away game to look forward to. I did go to Ipswich, by the way, I forgot to say. I also went to this one, and yes, so we lost to Arsenal after extra time. We did draw 1-1 in 90 minutes. That was Josh Murphy again scoring in the cup and giving us the lead, but it was a fantastic performance from the players. They really battled hard, and you know we missed a couple of chances at 1-0, and like I just said, if you don't take your chances, the other team will punish you, and you know sure enough they did. But nevertheless, there was so much to take out of that display, but it was possibly one of the moments that possibly stopped our good run in form and led to the horror run that I'm about to talk about. There was no break for the players, and the games just kept on coming. This time we played Derby at home, and we unfortunately lost 2-1, so that was our first defeat in 8 games, I think. Went 1-0 down on the stroke of half-time. possibly poor refereeing decision just before. But to be fair, even at 1-1, Derby went for the win, and they probably deserved it in the end. But nevertheless, that was still just a little blip, and hopefully we were hoping it would just be a blip, but obviously it didn't turn out to be, and we did slip out of the top 6. A second consecutive home game and also a second consecutive home defeat, unfortunately. This time it was at the hands of Wolves, who are at the moment spearheading the league, and they don't look like staying down. Let's just say I think they're going to win the league pretty comfortably. The way they're playing. I don't think it would have mattered how we'd have played in that game. Wolves would have beaten us anyway, and it was, could have been more, to be fair. But yeah, so second defeat in a row. Or in the league anyway, but yeah, starting to worry me a little. An away game at Bolton just before the third international break of the season, and it was a pretty terrible performance. We lost 2-1. Cameron Jerome missed a golden opportunity just before Bolton scored, and like I said, if he'd have taken that chance, it could have all been different. But yes, we went into the international break on the back of a defeat to Bolton, who were bottom of the league at the time and starting to recover, but from beating Middlesbrough to losing at Bolton, that's just how quickly it can change in football. Yeah, that result meant we slipped down to 13th. Looking to get back on track and back to winning ways, we had a home game against Barnsley, but it was one of the most uninspiring games of the season, like Burton, and again Barnsley probably the better side, and if anything probably deserved the 3 points. So we did get an early goal. That was Josh Murphy, and it was a deflected goal, so it was the slice of luck that we'd been looking for. But again, we didn't do enough to win the game, and really worrying times for Norwich. A midweek game, away game at Nottingham Forest. I was thinking of going to this game, but again, it was going to be hard for me to get there, and we lost 1-0. We didn't play terribly, but again, no real threat up front, and didn't look like scoring. And yeah, Daryl Murphy, the former Ipswich man, he got the winner. It was just one of those games where I think we just lacked that little bit of quality. Nottingham Forest weren't anything special, but at the end of the day, it was another defeat. Alex Neil returned to Carrow with his Preston side, and it was another 1-1 draw at home, and I think that was our sixth home game without a win. So that's really concerning, because to be fair, last year one of our main high points was the fact we won, I think, 15 of our 21 games at home, and that was the second best record in the league, and that's one of the reasons we were 8th and not in the bottom half of the table. But yeah, we took the lead with a good goal from James Maddison. Good to see him back on the score sheet. But Preston, they fought back, and they managed to find an equaliser at about 70 minutes. And then the most entertaining moment of the game came when the linesman got injured, but he couldn't be the fourth official, so they got a local one from the crowd to be the fourth official, and that took about 10 minutes and stopped the flow of the game completely, but provided some entertainment that the fans had been missing. But yeah, nevertheless, another failure to win at home, and hope of going up really slipping away. Norwich travelled to high-flying Cardiff on a Friday night, and they were winning at half-time, goal from Marco Stiepermann, but Cardiff battled back with a couple of penalties. They won the game 3-1. Cardiff did play well, although some said that Norwich played well too, but we just weren't good enough on the night. But it was another game where that was the third time in 4 games where we'd taken the lead and then failed to defend the lead. So you can see that as a problem, holding on to leads. I think that was about 7 points dropped from winning positions, and those points can be crucial come any time of the season really. But yes, that made it also 8 games without a win. Finally, Norwich got back to winning ways with a 3-1 victory over Sheffield Wednesday. They did fall behind in the first half to a Jordan Rhodes header, but quickly got back on track in the second half, and goals from James Maddison, Tim Closer and Nelson Oliveira meant they collected their first win in 9 games. It only lifted them up to 15th, which really summarised how they were doing. But nevertheless, a win's a win, and it was hopefully we could take some momentum into the following week. It was not to be, though, as Norwich went down to a 1-0 defeat at Leeds. A Pontus Jansson header in the first half condemned them to another defeat and left them with just 1 win in 10 games, also sliding them down to 16th. So, yeah, again, it was another one of those games where we did have some chances, but we didn't take them, and, the other team, they got a chance and they took theirs. So, yeah, starting to repeat myself a bit now. It's getting frustrating. Norwich reached the half-season point then with a whimper, and it was a 2-1 defeat at home to Brentford on Friday night. They went 2 goals down in quick succession from Lassie Vibe, and then were unable to get back into the game until Nelson Oliveira scored a consolation in added time. There really was a hostile atmosphere in Carrow Road, with many fans calling for Delia to go and making a mockery of the club. Really, it was a terrible performance. Brentford, they played well, to be fair to them, but worrying times ahead. How many times have I said that now? So that result then, along with obviously all the others, left us 16th in the Championship, and this was as of full time of the Brentford game, so that might have changed by the time you're watching this video. We could slip as low as 18th, I think, if Queen's Park Rangers and Millwall win, but we're certainly not going to be getting any higher, so hugely worrying then. We're only at the moment 10 points clear of the drop, and that could change to 7, and we're still 10 points adrift of the playoffs, which could change to 13, so, well, this season's going nowhere, really. So if you missed any of that then, so 22 goals in 23 games, so that's less than a goal a game. We've only scored more than 1 goal in 4 games this season in the league. No clean sheets in 8 games, 1 win in 11 games, and 7 defeats in 11 games. So yeah, very depressing. Our top 5 goals this season, and I can't put the videos on for like copyright reasons, but I can still tell you about them. So James Maddison makes that list 3 times. So against Reading, his free kick, that was, like I said, one of the best free kicks I've seen this season. Middlesbrough, where he curled it into the top corner, and then Harrison Reed against Queen's Park Rangers. That was an audacious effort from about 30 yards straight into the top corner. Wes Hoolahan against Swindon, that was a fantastic team goal. One of the best best build-up play that I've seen this season from Norwich. And then finally James Maddison again against Preston, that was another free kick from him. So yeah, a dead ball specialist he's certainly become, but we haven't seen many goals this season, that's the problem. So the pickings weren't too slim, to be fair, but yeah, you see what I mean. If we'd have scored more goals, then perhaps I'd have had more better goals to tell you about, but it is what it is. So our Christmas fixtures are still to come. We've got Birmingham away on Boxing Day, Burton Albion away on the 30th of December. I will be going to that one, and Millwall at home on I think New Year's Day. So this is a big chance. If we're to keep up any small slim chances of making the playoffs, we're going to have to win all 3 of those games, I think. Or we're going to have to get 7 points. 7 points is a minimum, but preferably we need 9, because the games aren't going to get, without disrespect, the games aren't going to get easy, any easier than these ones based on league table position. So yeah, this is really just the last chance for Norwich City to scramble anything left from this season. Otherwise, it looks like it's going to be quite a dull second half of the season. But who knows what can happen in football? So yeah, let's hope we can get maximum points from these. As you may or may not know, I do run a blog on Norwich City. It's on my sort of website that I created, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, but I'd recently just added it. So I write about each game usually, and then I do sort of statistics and general reviews at different points in the season. So I'd really appreciate if you checked that out. A lot of the stuff I write on there is quite similar to what I say in videos. So I do the blog because it's something I really enjoy doing, and it goes in nicely with my videos. If you would read any of it and then maybe let me know what my writing's like, and if you agree or disagree with anything I say, I'd really appreciate that. So there you have it then. That is my season review so far this season. So it was it started off pretty badly, and then we had that really good run, and then recently it's been even worse than it was at the start of the season. So I've no idea which direction this season's going in, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the right one. Like I said before, next 3 games are absolutely huge, and we need 9 points minimum to stand any chance of getting the playoffs. I shouldn't say that and give you all hope, because I'll admit, I said after last night that I've lost all the hope that I didn't have already. If you get, that was a deliberate double negative. But yeah, it's really not good, but I really did enjoy making this video. Let me know how you think the season's gone so far. I'd love to hear from you. Do you think we've got any chance of still staying up, or do you think that we could be fighting a relegation battle for the rest of the season? But yeah, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.